Hunt Ford, a business founded on the principles of honesty, integrity, fair dealing, treating customers with respect, and providing good customer service. Hunt Motor Company was founded by John L. and Ada Hunt. Here's how it all began. John grew up on a farm in Smiths Grove, Kentucky. After high school, he saved $10 and bought a train ticket for Louisville to look for work. He soon heard that the Gulf Oil Company was hiring, so he walked to the refinery every day, hoping to be one of the 2 to 3 men hired per day. He finally got a job, and after 5 years of working there, he was given the opportunity to buy a Gulf service station. John's hard work and honest nature created a good business. John soon met Ada Kleinstrank, who worked at her father's florist business across from the station. They married in 1939, and Ada began working with John at the Gulf station. In 1942, during World War II, the station became a collection point for used rubber, and John soon realized he needed to do more for the war effort. So he joined the U.S. Army and closed the gas station. After the war, in 1945, John went back to Louisville and was offered another Gulf service station. His old customers came to his new location, and he gained new customers because of his honesty and good service. He had customers who worked in Ford's Louisville sales office. It was after spending time with them that John realized his keen interest in the car business. When the dealership in Franklin, Kentucky came up for sale, John bought it from Jenkins & Wynn. Hunt Motor Company officially opened November 1st, 1952. John sold Ford cars, trucks, and tractors. Ada became the bookkeeper for the dealership, a job that she held for over 20 years. She joined the Business and Professional Women's Club, worked with the Red Cross on blood drives, and became a board member of the Franklin Simpson Memorial Swimming Pool. Hunt Motor Company has been a member of the Chamber of Commerce since 1952. In March 1963, Hunt Motor Company moved to South Main Street to expand. In 1966, Ford made all of the dealerships buy new signs. John decided to change the name from Hunt Motor Company to Hunt Ford because it was quite a bit cheaper to print. John put his young son Rick to work at the dealership during the summer, taking out the trash, sweeping up the shop, and keeping track of special service tools. By the age of 12, Rick was washing and polishing cars. By high school, Rick became quite a good mechanic, performing brake jobs, overhauling engines, and doing body and paint work. After Rick graduated high school, he left to attend the University of Kentucky. Much like his dad did, Rick soon realized his interest was cars. So he moved back home and attended Western Kentucky University and worked in the parts department. Rick decided college was not for him and soon became a full-time employee of Hunt Ford. In 1970, John began teaching Rick to sell cars. He taught him how to work the auctions and how to appraise a vehicle's value. In 1972, Rick married Ann Dawson from Logan County. By 1974, Rick bought part of Hunt Ford from John and became his partner. John not only taught Rick everything he knew about the car business, he did so while instilling in him all the founding principles that he was so passionate about. In 1975, Rick bought all of John's interest in Hunt Ford and became the dealer, allowing John and Ada to retire. Customer service was the #1 priority. In 1976, Rick bought the Mercury franchise and worked hard to make the business successful, often working 6 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day. Ann stayed home with their 4 children, and Rick ran the dealership. January 7, 1985, at 10 p.m., a tornado struck the dealership. It damaged 250 vehicles, blew all the windows out of the showroom, and blew the body shop completely away. Hunt Ford was devastated. The following Sunday morning, around 50 friends and customers showed up to help clean up the damage. Farmers brought their grain trucks and loaded up 10 in concrete blocks and hauled them off. They worked all day cleaning up glass and debris. All of the friends, neighbors, and customers showing up to help Rick showed him just how well-liked Hunt Ford was. What a terrific town Franklin is, and by Monday morning, Hunt Ford was open for business. In 1992, Rick took on the Chrysler line of cars and trucks. He set out to hire the best mechanics and improve the service of Chryslers and Fords. He soon had the reputation for the best service department around. Many of the mechanics and staff he hired are still here today.
I'm in my 33rd year. My title is like I told Rick when he hired me. I didn't want to be over anything. All I do is sales. My customer's got a problem, I got a problem, but if anybody else has got a problem, then go talk to the boss.
What do you remember about Hunt Ford when you first started?
I remember I was scared to death. I had never worked in a dealership before. Come into a bunch of people that I wasn't used to.
Well, of course, it's a Ford dealership. It was only a Ford dealership at that time. And like I said, I had worked here the 1 year before, and I already knew everybody really well. So I just felt like I was coming back maybe from a vacation for a while or something.
Gosh, there wasn't very many of us. There was just a handful. It was laid back. It was laid back. It still is, but it was very family oriented like it is now.
Well, there were just me and one other guy that sold. And there would be days that had a special going on that I might sell 5 or 6 and Leon may sell 5 or 6.
What I remember basically is the same goes today as it did back then. The way that they sell vehicles, the way they treat people, the way they do everything. There's just some things that's never changed. Some things have changed. Some things needed to change.
And it was different. No computers, no fax machines. If you did a thing with Ford Credit, you called them in Memphis and gave them the information. That's quite a bit different than now.
When I come for my interview, after the interview was over, I was talking to Timmy Pardue. He was a service manager at the time, and then Rick Hunt come out and said, "Hey, let's go look at your truck." And I thought, well, that's kind of odd.
My first day is coming in and talking to Rick about a job in the cleanup shop. Of course, Rick's passionate. He wanted to know where my vehicle was parked at.
So we walked out and looked at the truck. He said, "Yeah, nice truck."
So I told him, and he said, "Well, let's go look at it and see." Of course, I had a 1972 Chevrolet C10, blue and white in color, slick as a pin. And of course, Rick's not a Chevrolet man, but he wanted to see how clean my vehicle was. Once he seen how clean my vehicle was, then he give me the job.
After I started, it was a few years later, I found out that he'd come to me and said, "You know why I went and looked at your truck?" And I said, "No." He said, "You can tell a lot about people by how they keep their vehicles."
But I guess some of my fondest memories is when Rick used to take us to the mountains or to Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge on the truck shows. He took us every May.
One of the most favorite things we done was when we used to go to Pigeon Forge for the truck show.
Rick always, he took us on the Pigeon Forward thing, to the truck show. So we did that. And everybody always looked forward to that.
Being with everyone, we're not just, at that time, you just wasn't co-workers, you were friends hanging out and having a good time.
That's some of the most memorable, fun times. Everybody got just like a big family picnic.
The Hunts have always been so good to us. It's kind of those things that there's not really one. There's a bunch of them.
Right.
They're always good to us. They're good to their employees. They always have been.
But if I had to pin it to one, in 2000 when I lost my mom, I was out of work for almost 3 weeks. And when I came back, Rick had paid me for the whole time I was gone. And when I asked him about it, because I told him, I said, "Man, you don't owe me this money," because I'd only been working for him for about 6 years. He told me that I was part of the Hunt Ford family that they would take care of. And they always have.
It's like a family, more of a family atmosphere than a workplace. We all try to work together and get the job done. And
I don't think we got enough time in the day to talk about the great memories I've had at Hunt Ford. But I can remember several that we've had that it wasn't long after we took over the Chrysler business, and I walked over to the parts department at the other dealership in town. And of course, the parts department was L-shaped. And I was sitting there getting a part, and I looked over at the parts guys, and I said, have y'all seen this ugly ass, excuse my language, April, I'm sorry, we ain't supposed to use no profanity. I said, have y'all seen this ugly ass PT Cruiser? It's just as gold as you could, ugly, just ugly. And I said, ain't nobody gonna buy that thing. About that time, Rick was over in the other part of the parts department. He leaned his head around there and he said, there's an ass for every seat, son.
We can't forget about Miss Ann's cookies that she fixes us. She has done that all the way from the other dealership to this dealership, and they would always make an announcement. Miss Ann's going to send cookies this evening, and everybody would just flock in there, and within 10 minutes or less, they were all gone. So we can't forget about Miss Ann's cookies when we're talking about memories. She made them. They're so good. Her cookies are delicious, and I guess it's just the love she put in them when she made them is all I can say.
Why should customers come?
Why shouldn't they? It's a great place. I mean, we try to treat people the way we want to be treated. We try to, take care of everybody.
I've always just believed that we're a hometown dealership. I pride myself on trying to help people, treat people like I would want to be treated.
Hunt Ford's the best. They got to come to Hunt Ford. We're a family. We treat you like family, and that's what people want.
And I always tell my guys, my mechanics, everybody, when you're working on these people's vehicles, treat it like your mamas, treat it like your daddies, your grandmamas, your daughters, your sons. Because at the end of the day, that's the second most expensive thing other than their house, what they purchase.
Actually, I have got friends over the years that worked at bigger, not necessarily bigger, different dealerships. Most of them not family owned. Their whole deal is to get you confused and talk you into buying something you really don't want to buy. Prove to them that you can buy. And at Hunt Ford, that just doesn't happen.
My family bought cars here before I even started working here. So, I mean, we've done business with them before I was an employee.
At both locations has every one of these type of employees there to help you. And they'll go above and beyond to do whatever they need to do to help you. They treat you like family. Hunt Ford has a family environment. You'll feel it when you walk in the door.
My favorite memory is just watching the Hunt family grow up, and Leslie and John going from toddlers and diapers to bosses.
All four of Rick and Ann's children, John and Leslie, Ben and Richard, were raised in the dealership. They all worked hard after school and summers, washing cars, cleaning up parts, and service. They all had the Hunt work ethic. All four went on to graduate from the University of Kentucky. John and Ann Leslie showed interest in making a career at Hunt Ford and returned to work after graduation. Rick, John, and Ann Leslie all worked together for several years and followed the principles set forth by John L. Hunt many years ago. John and Ann Leslie used the internet to sell more cars and trucks. Rick could tell that all the new technology was leaving him behind. So in 2006, he sold Hunt Ford to John and Ann Leslie and retired. By 2014, the company had grown from about 20 employees to around 35.
What do you remember about Hunt Ford when you first started?
How nice it was. They're good people to work for.
When I first started here, it was just me and Bobby and Leon. Of course, John and Aunt Leslie. But that's all there was on the sales floor.
It was scary. Mainly because I wasn't from around here. And this was the first job when I came south. New life, new environment.
It was laid back, easy going. Favorite memories since working here?
Christmas and Thanksgiving. Favorite memory. It's hard to put a favorite out there when there's so many of them.
I don't know. I have a lot of favorite memories. Probably Leon. He was probably one of the funniest ones around.
Definitely some of my funniest memories of just Leon and Bobby training me, teaching me about the cars and the lot and how everything works. And I have some hilarious memories of that.
I can't put one out there. All good. I mean, it's The dealership has treated me good. The owners have treated me good. I'm very happy of the family environment that is put forward.
Every year is the Christmas party. It's always so fun, and John and Leslie make sure it's a great time for everybody, and you really feel like you're just having an extended family Christmas. It's always so fun.
Why should people come here?
I think we treat them well. We do a great job on their vehicles. We don't have a lot of comebacks. We do have some, not a lot.
Maybe because we have a strong belief in the customer comes first. Treat them right, fix their car right, they'll be back.
So we take care of them. I think we do a good job.
I feel like everybody keeps saying they treat you like family, and it's true, they do, but even more than that, like when you're here, you are family. You know, whether you're getting your service work done or buying a car for the first time. I've lived here since 1985, and my parents have always bought cars from Hunt Ford. So even before I worked here, I was familiar with Hunt Ford, and I just always knew about Hunt Ford. And then it wasn't until I started working here that I realized how much they're involved in the community and how much they give back to the community. And that is really, really important to me. And I think everybody in the community would agree that Hunt Ford is definitely a pillar of the community.
Business was good, and John and Leslie were out of room at the Main Street location their grandfather built in 1963. In 2017, the new Ford dealership opened just off the interstate. To date, the company now has over 70 employees.
What do you remember about Hunt Ford when you first started here?
Cramped. We were in the small building. There was probably 6 salespeople when I first started. It was just cramped. You didn't have room to walk out of the parking lot because of all the vehicles. But now we're in this nice, great facility. It's a lot more room. Just really a lot more room is the biggest thing that's helped out.
When I first started, it was the beginning of COVID, so a lot of interesting changes going on.
Well, I think the first thing is how welcoming the employees was to work with you and do. Everyone was so welcoming, and if you had questions, there was always someone willing to help you learn your position, learn how the whole store works, all the areas, and is always willing to, help in any way for you to do your job better.
When I started here, it was just me and Kyle back here in parts, just getting started as a Chrysler dealer. It was slow, then things built up, got better.
Being nervous. Didn't have the first clue about vehicles, but when I come in, everyone was very friendly and willing to help. So here I am 5 years later.
I think I was amazed at the business that we did, in-state, out-of-state.
I remember I was very excited because it was a new challenge, something new, but at the same time, I felt like I was very overwhelmed because I had to learn a lot of stuff in a very short time. I felt like to do my job well.
A few years, Kyle spent out in service, and here we are again, working back together in parts.
I had worked in the medical field for like 20 years, so car sales was definitely a new area for me.
What is your favorite memory from working here so far?
Well, I'd say my favorite memory would be definitely last year when I got sick. Every person, we're all like a family here, and people checked on me. They called me weekly, daily, helped me in any way possible, and took so much stress off me last year when I was sick because they truly cared about me. And, I even had, a couple people take me to the doctor. Just, they truly care about their employees here. And that just, makes you feel so good, how they all treat you here and how we're all a family, I think. I think seeing how the Hunts help the community, the people, and to witness that.
I'd say the chili cook-off because it was competitive but friendly, and we brought in people throughout the community to come in and be our testers.
I would say back in June, I had my best month that I'd had since I'd been here, helping the sales team get cars sold. So that made me feel like I was contributing something to the business and made me feel good about myself and the job that I was doing.
Just the connections, the people I work with, the connections in the community I've made.
Guy who used to work here, everybody knows him, Jesse. I laugh every time I hear about this, but he started about a week before I did. And Josh got him all set up with a desk, a little small desk. Well, whenever I got hired, they got me a big desk over there, and he was thinking that big desk was for him until he went up to Josh one day and says, "Is that for me?" He said, "No, that's for the new guy, Jimmy, coming in."
There's some good memories. We've had several good Christmas parties. Worked with several good people. So I mean, we've made some good friends and some good memories over just the few short years we've been here.
Why should customers come here to Hunt Fork?
Because we are a friendly dealership, family oriented, and we would love for you to be a part of that family with us.
Well, shortly we'll be here 70 years, and I think that they have kept those same core values the whole time that they have had a business here.
They are celebrating their 70th anniversary, and it is a third generation car dealership, so I think that speaks for itself. I think we treat everybody with courtesy, and we operate on basic principles of integrity and honesty, and I think that's important, especially in this day and age.
I think we take time to know our customers, know their concerns, whether it be with service work, parts, or purchasing a vehicle. And I think we take time to know them truly by name and, help them meet their needs and make them successful, which in turn makes our business successful in the community.
Because I feel like they get treated fairly. I've worked at another dealership, and it was a bad experience even for me as a salesperson. But people should come here because we're upfront, we're transparent with everything, we're honest, and we try to treat them like family.
Well, I think they treat you like family here. They try to work with you and just make the whole process of buying, getting service work easy.
Before I even worked here, my mom had bought a couple of vehicles through here. I've bought a couple through here now, and it always seems like we've been treated fairly and took care of when things need to be took care of.
And the discussion of new buildings in the foreseeable future with good customer service and employees in mind. The foundation for success was there, and by embracing new technology, they have taken the dealership to the next level, all while upholding the values taught to them by their dad and granddad. Employees with these same hard work ethics and dedication to customers are the main reasons the founding principles have not changed. Thank you to all of our loyal, dedicated employees. Your hard work does not go unnoticed. If John L. and Rick were here today, they would be so proud of the progress.